new one. And even if they wanted to refurbish the old ones, they had to have a special permission. And even when they got permission, it could not be higher than the nearest mosque, in order to demonstrate exactly the point that Islam is supreme and nothing can be seen to compete with it. That's the issue.
This whole idea of dhimmi is permeated in Arab culture. It goes all the way back to the 7th century. In some Arab countries, it was more important, like in Yemen, for example, or in Morocco, more significant than in Egypt or in Iraq.
Jews were always at the mercy of whoever the ruler was at the time. If it was a generous, kind, democratic, so to speak, ruler, then the Jews even made it to government posts. You just really always felt like an inferior, I wish I could say only second-class citizen. It felt more like 10th class at least citizen, constantly trying to compliment the Arab, trying to minimize yourself, trying to ingratiate yourself to the individual or the community of Arabs.
The meaning of that, dhimmi, that you have to pay every year for your living if you want to live. If you want me to guard you, I mean the imam, the government, if you want to continue living as a Jew, you are dhimmi. Dhimmi must pay special tax for his living.
The status of dhimmi, which means the protected people, and applied equally on Jews and Christians, was not always uniformly and equally applied on all lands of Islam. And that law of the dhimmi under Islamic law sometimes was abused of for the wrong, and sometimes Jews got a much better status, in fact, than what was prescribed by the Sharia.
אפילו כשחוקי הדימי לא נאכפו באדיקות, התרבות של הדימי, של כניעות המיעוט, עדיין עיצבה את ההתייחסות אל היהודים.
My grandfather was a very famous lawyer, but he would go to the shuk to buy some food, and the shuk, whoever, the vegetable clerk or whatever, would say to him, "Are you a Jew?" And he would say yes. They would demand his money. If he wouldn't give all of his money, they would beat him up.
When I used to walk in the street, little children used to run after me and throw stones at me and calling me, "You are a Jew, you are a traitor," and they threw stones at only little kids.
So we're able to peek through the shutters, and I will never forget the scene of thousands of people in the streets shouting death to the Jews and having big banners and signs, and they were, lifting their fists. I was very fearful, but there was nothing really that we could do except wait until the riot was over.
I was born in Morocco, in the city of Fez, which used to be the capital city of Morocco over many centuries. What I remember from my childhood, because I was there until the age of 13 or 13 and a half, was that I grew up in fear. That's the most striking thing. In fear because every time somebody ran up the stairs, my mother used to run and lock the door. I always asked why. She said, "Oh, the Arabs make Arabs." And then when I grew up, I examined historically, and it turns out in 1912, there was a big uprising in Fez, and a couple of hundred Jews were massacred by the Arabs, Muslims, in Morocco. And since then, the Jews are living together, and they are very much afraid.
I was in school with one of my best friends, Minyawi. We were real close. He's a Muslim Egyptian. One day we were playing in the field, and he turned around and told me, "حيجي يوم حنذبح كل اليهود." One day we will slit the throat of all the Jews. I was shocked. He was one of my best friends, and I couldn't understand it. So this is the contradiction we faced at that time in Egypt when I grew up. The good times and the very bad times. The fear and the prosperity.
למרות שהיהודים היו אזרחים מדרגה שנייה תחת שלטון מוסלמי, החיים תחת הרדיפות של הנוצרים היו גרועים יותר. יהודים רבים מצאו מקלט וסובלנות יחסית בארצות מוסלמיות לאחר שהנוצרים גירשו אותם מספרד. בערים המודרניות היהודים היו חלק אינטגרלי מהמרקם החברתי. בגדד בשנות ה-20 של המאה ה-20 לדוגמה, הייתה כמעט 40% יהודית.
And I remember very well Baghdad. Remember the river? My family used to live in northern Baghdad. It was a very nice neighborhood, and we had very good relations with the neighbors.
Well, I remember the River Nile and the pyramids. I remember my friends and my school teacher, and I remember especially the 80,000 vibrant Jewish community.
The Jews of Iraq, they served the state of Iraq very much, more than any other minority in Iraq. The first finance minister was a Jew.
One of my relatives was a very well-known lawyer who drafted the Egyptian constitution for King Fuad in 1924. Now, not many Egyptian Muslims know that an Egyptian Jew drafted the constitution.
I think my father was a very special case because he wasn't really even considered as a Jew by most of his Muslim friends. He was an Iraqi first and foremost. He was not only really very much knowledgeable about Judaism but also about Quran, and and he could cite many surahs from the Quran, and he understood very well the Quran.
When Muslim was invited to Jews for Saturday, he said, for Chunt, Tibet we called it, it was very honored to that Muslim that he was invited to Jews.
أبجد هوس حطي كلام شكل الأستاذ بقى منسجم أبجد هوس حطي كلام شكل الأستاذ بقى منسجم.
Leila Murad, she was the diva, the Barbara Streisand, if you will, of the Middle East, and she was an Egyptian Jewish woman who was a beautiful singer. And to this day, people are still listening to her music and absolutely love her. Most Arabs do not know that she's Jewish.
كان فعل ماضي ما تسيبه بحاله والماضي احنا مالنا وماله كان فعل ماضي ما تسيبه بحاله والماضي احنا مالنا وماله.
My parents left Iraq around the 50s. I was born here in Israel in the Middle East. I consider myself as a Judeo-Arab, belong to the Judeo-Arab people.
יאיר דלל, אומן מוזיקת עולם, משמר ומפרש מחדש מוזיקה יהודית עיראקית. הוא למד את האומנות הזו ממוזיקאים יהודים שברחו מבגדד לישראל בשנות ה-50. האהבה הזו למוזיקה משותפת לו ולישראלים אחרים, והוא מופיע ברחבי העולם.
I was 2 months ago in Germany for a peace concert. And I met 3 young musicians from Baghdad. They ran away, they escaped. It was in Cologne. They escaped to Cologne from Iraq. And we started to sing and play, and I played the violin and the oud. And after the concert, they came to the stage like with full of enthusiasm and tears in their eyes. He said, you know, my father, he's a musician. He always taught me, if you want to study to play good music, to play well, go to the Jews.